Well, what's going on, social media family? Once again, it is on. It is the 8th day of February, the Love Month, Black History Month. And every Wednesday about this time, we jump up on this thing, and it is Wellness Wednesday, where a healthy you is
Is a
a
better
better
you.
you. Got my
That's
good
right.
brother in the building, brother Edward J. Brown,
What's going
a
on, man?
licensed clinician to talk about the ways of the world. And listen, you might need somebody to talk to. We're going to talk about, listen, before you do something that you shouldn't do and you need somebody to talk to, we got folks that you can talk to. I'm just saying.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
just saying. So family, we up in here.
Yep.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. I'm gonna start sharing it with some friends. It is a rainy, stormy
Yes.
Wednesday
Yes.
in southern Mississippi and southwest and southeast and South Louisiana. However, guess what? No matter how bad it is, there's
We
somebody out there
here.
that wish they had some of the weather that you having right now.
We are here, baby. We here.
That's it. Talk to me, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. Look, you know how we always say we come on here and we want to do what's best for the people and hope to give good information and but a lot of times the topics choose us instead of us choosing the topic.
This is very
And
true.
I believe today we're gonna have one of those shows, man. I
All
just have
right.
a feeling we're gonna have one of those shows because on yesterday was my day up at Alcorn State University. And
Okay.
when I was leaving, I saw I had a couple of missed calls during my class. Most everybody don't call me when they know I'm in class, but this person called me and they were having that ship problem. You know, we
Okay.
all had them ship problems,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
relationships,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
friendships,
Mm-hmm.
and he was having an issue with relationship. So I
Okay.
kind of figured today that's a topic that 1 hour is never enough for us.
Correct.
When we
Correct.
start
Never.
talking about relationships and how to deal with relationships and what relationships bring about in regards to our mental health, it gets a little hot and heavy.
Yeah. Correct.
Well, his issue in regards to a relationship was respect.
Mm. RESPECT.
CK. Yeah,
Put some respect,
that's right.
respect, respect on
And,
my
and,
name. Okay.
and here's his issue. Now I hope that whoever watched this, we get some ladies to watch this because here was his issue. He does not feel his lady knows how to follow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
man.
Question is, does he know how to lead?
Well, here's the thing. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about following, leading. We're going to talk about the whole ship, whether it's sinking or it's floating. We're
Hold
going to
on.
talk
Now,
about
now, now,
ship.
Ludacris said, when I move, you
You move.
move,
All
just
right.
like that.
So here's the thing we're going to talk about, and everything that we do pertains to your mental health.
Come on.
And believe it or not, there is not a variable on this planet that impacts our mental health as much as the relationships that we carry throughout our lives. From
Mm.
family
Mm.
to friends
Mm.
to co-workers,
Mm.
people that we thought was friends, people we thought was family.
Mm.
But these relationships. So here is the thing. If someone does not believe and practice the things that you believe in practice, is that disrespectful to you?
Whoa.
Especially if you're within a relationship.
Now, there are folk out there that talk about the yokiness of things.
Oh yeah,
Are you evenly yoked?
yeah.
This might go into that category, but understand this: just because people see things different than you, don't mean that y'all are not compatible. It just means maybe
That's
y'all
true.
were raised or see things differently. I'm just saying. With that being said, back to Brother Brown.
Well, my thing is because we have a tendency to not remember that even though you are a part of a relationship, you are a whole individual.
Correct.
You are not, and a lot of times when I do couples work and work with individuals who come in, married couples, I tell people the greatest myth ever told is that a relationship is 50-50.
Come on.
That is a myth. Now, let me tell you
on it.
why, Brother Dupree.
Speak on it, brother.
You did not come into that relationship 50% of a man.
Yeah, that's correct.
The other individuals, they don't come in 50% of a woman.
Correct.
So if you are 100% man and they are 100% woman, a relationship is 100-100.
Correct.
Because let me see if I get this straight. If a relationship is 50-50, all you require me to give you is 50%?
Well, and then comes the bigger question. If I'm only giving not all of me, are we really going to win? Because I'm always told that if you plan on winning anything, you got to give it your best. You got to give it your all. You got to be in it to win it. You can't be in it to win it if you just barely playing the game. You got to know the game, practice the game, study the game, and have a strategy to win the game. But see, with relationships, here's what I come to find out with a lot of folks. I might get some amens and I might get some boos. But at the end of the day, just like I had to post not too very long ago about our relationships with our spiritual father. A lot of you expect a lot from your spiritual father, but you only literally see your spiritual father for a 1 hour session on the middays and for a 1 or 2 hour session on a Sunday. Let me ask you this. Would you follow anybody who only gave you 3 hours out of a whole week of their time? I'm just saying. I'll let that marinate and sizzle in your spirit. Back to Brother Brown.
and the issue we always talk about is if I'm 100% of a man and I only have to give you 50%, what I'm doing with the other 50%?
Correct.
Or what are you doing with your other 50%? So we have to start asking ourselves, when we go into these ships, these relationships, these friendships, do we have realistic expectations? Now, I saw a video of I think it was just some social media person with a bunch of followers had a discussion about bringing something to the table. And she said, literally, I'm a bad bitch. That's what I bring to the table. And I was like, okay, I'm listening to it. She said, so I've never been turned down by a man. So if I like you, you should be privileged and honored that I'm trying to be with you.
Okay. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you be blessed to pay my bills. Yeah, I'm gonna let you be blessed to be in my presence.
So the guy that was on the show with her, he was like, well, he said the interesting thing is, and this is where the thing went left, and I wish I could find it so I could finish watching it. She said, the reason I'm having this podcast is because I don't have a problem with there's a term now, and I didn't know this.
Okay.
They're called the passport bros.
Wait a minute. What's that?
Yeah, that's what I said the same thing.
What that thing? What that be?
So this is what these guys
you a passport bro. So my job is my job is to fly you around, wine and dine you, and just be happy that I am graced with your beauty in my presence.
Not exactly. That's not what she was saying.
Break it down to me.
I didn't know what a passport bro was until she explained it. And she said that the guy that's on the show with her explained it actually. He said these guys will go to places like the Dominican Republic, to the Caribbean, and they will find these women who should grace the cover of magazines and they're so beautiful. And they treat the guys like kings. So they bring them back to the States and they marry them. And now they have this beautiful individual who treats them like a queen, and they don't have to deal with the women here in the States that have this ideology that the sun rises and sets on them. So as I listened to these young individuals kind of talk back and forth, it made me think, what is the priority? Is it to find that individual that we mesh with, that we can go through the good, the bad, and the ugly with? Or do we just look for that moment of pleasure? I like looking at you. I like the looks that I get when I'm with you. Or what happens when we're confined to the house with one another for 2.5 years in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, that's the question, because I am really starting to ask myself, are some folks really feeling that what they bring to the table is, like you said, they a bad bee? And their definition of a bad bee is a certain look. They wear a certain style clothes, certain clothes fit them a certain way. And really all they bring is their physical attributes to the table. My question is, what more, if I took that off the table, if I took the sexuality and your physical attributes off the table, what is left on the table? What is there left in this meal? If I take those items off, what am I still going to get some nourishment? Am I still going to get fulfilled? Or I'm going to feel like, hold up, if those things ain't on the table, we ain't got nothing.
Well, here's the interesting, as the great musician Prince said in one of his songs, if God one day struck me blind, your beauty I'd still see. Now, what he means by that is, what's beautiful to me has very little to do with the way you look. So when we start to look at these relationships, and like we started off about respect, is where and what are the top tier characteristics that we seem to be needing in these ships that we form? Because I'm going to tell you something. Things have changed. Things have changed, and we talk about it in the therapeutic world, and we term it traditional versus non-traditional. Are you that person where when daddy came home, daddy gave mama the check, mama took care of the house and the kids, and daddy might have $20 to go hang out with his friends and do whatever, but everything was taken care of? He didn't feel like he was not a part of a union. But nowadays, marriage is an arrangement. I was told by a young person, people don't get married for life anymore. They get married hoping to accomplish a couple of things, and then they go their separate ways. And I'm looking at this individual and I'm like, are you serious? Divorce is at 78% now.
Right.
So my question is, what are those things? Is respect important? Compatibility, looks, money, finances.
Well, hold on. Stop. Let's okay. This is where we have to be real with most folk. Okay. Most folk are only concerned about looks and money. Money will cover up a lot of ugly looks. Now let's just be real with it. Some folk, their whole scheme in life, their whole scheme in a relationship is to be in a place where you look at them, where you other individuals look at them and ooh and ah. Ooh, look at the car they got. Ooh, look at the house they live in. Ooh, look at them clothes they got. Because what they actually wants to do in their relationships is put you in the ooh and ah mode, where you are oohing and ahhing at them, and they really don't care about their relationship. They just will need to make sure that their relationship makes you go ooh and ah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but this kind of, And I find us going back into the last show that we had. Why does it matter so much what other people think? So much so that we choose a mate as a result of it. Instead of saying, you make me happy just how you are. I don't care. What makes me happy, like in Coming to America, was whatever makes you happy. You know? So my thing is, we are losing connection with what we termed longevity. You know, and it is so interesting to when I sit and I talk to my students and I tell them, here's a news flash. The person you with, you ain't gonna like them all the time. And what did Denzel, and it started with James Earl Jones back in, where does it say I have to like you?
Right, hold it. And watch this. Marriage, relationships are work. Finding somebody that you are attracted to, finding somebody that you might fall in love with is easy. Maintaining that relationship is work. And that is the problem. A lot of folks do not want to talk about the work part, the part that costs you that every day. How do I keep this thing above water and functioning? Working on a relationship is like balancing a checkbook, and everybody can't do that.
No. And here's the thing, not everybody wants to. You know, and I've had so many people come to me and say, is something wrong with me because I do not desire to get married? And one of the things that I always say, but is there a desire? Maslow said we all have the desire to love someone, to be accepted. And Tom Hanks showed that in Castaway. He created a whole relationship with Wilson. We have that need to have these interactive type relationships. That is how we're made. That is the way God, your higher being, whatever you want to call it, that's the way he created. God created me to where we are to interact with someone. We were not meant to be here alone.
Correct.
So when you start to say, well, I can't find a good man. Well, what are you looking for? Because what I always say is write 10 things down. And the man that you're going to be with is the one that has the most of those 10. So if he got 7 of the 10, that's a 7. That's passing.
That's correct.
He got a passing grade.
He got a passing grade.
He got a passing grade. But what people don't realize is these lists that we make in our heads, they change over time.
Well,
when you was in your 20s, the list you have in your 20s is not going to be the same list you have in your 30s.
And you have to ask yourself this. Sometimes you have to ask yourself the question that I feel like a lot of folks in relationships don't ask. Find somebody that can add and multiply to you.
Not enhance your life. That's what I call it. Find someone that enhances your life.
Right. Not subtract and divide. Now, with that being said, mind you this. If you can't take yourself out the roof, Chris, it's good for you to aspire somebody who can take you to the roof, Chris. But maybe the goal is to get yourself where you can take yourself out the roof, Chris.
Correct. Or if it's something that you like or something that you want, what gives you more satisfaction than giving that to yourself?
Right. Why do you need, hold it. And this is crazy because people who are married or people in relationship, here's what I tell folks. Understand this. Relationships are work and they are 100. You can't spend all your money. You can't feel at the end of any relationship. I don't care what the relationship is. It can be a work relationship. It can be a physical relationship. It can be a personal. You can never feel at the end of an evaluation of a relationship that you have given more to the relationship than the relationship has given back to you. You cannot feel that this equation is you've given more than what has been given to you. Because if that happens, I promise you the relationship will not last long.
Yeah. And one of the things that's the most surprising to me as a clinician is that, Brother Dupree, love is not one of those things that's required anymore by this new generation.
Correct. What love got to
And
do with it?
and it's really interesting to see how things work.
Right. What love got to do with it?
What love have to do with this? Love doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't pay the mortgage. It doesn't pay my car note. Love can't take us out, as you say, to Ruth Chris.
Right.
So when we start to look at what we're expecting, what we need, what we want, it is directly impacting how we think and how we feel. I can't find a good man. What is your list? Well, he must make $200,000 a year. He must have at least a 5-bedroom home,
right,
his own business. He must have at least 2 cars, one we can go out in and one he take to work every day. This is your list? Yep. And if I don't get that, I'm not going to find a man and I'm not going to be happy. Gotcha. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till that man comes along. Now, as my brother Joe would say, do you have a house that have 5 bedrooms?
Right.
Do you have 2 cars, one to go out in and one to... Do you have a $200,000 a year paying job?
Right.
Well, no, but that's the man's responsibility. Okay. My job is to take care of him and have a couple of babies. And okay. So now.
And hold it. Stop. Bookmark that.
We got to flip that script too now. Because we got women.
Hold it. We can't run from that so quickly. For the women out there who feel that way, think that way. We're not saying you're thinking wrong. We're just saying understand these are some ways that folk think. He's about to tell you how there are some. Hold it. I know some women out there that don't want a man who works.
Correct.
They don't. Go ahead and tell them about the other type woman. Then we're going to come back. We're going to visit this thing. We got to get in this. Share this.
I was about to flip it to the other side.
Then
we got that man where, well, I want you to clean up after me. I want a woman that can cook. I want a woman that don't talk back. All I want her to do is take care of me, keep the house clean. Now, whatever she buys, she got to buy with her own money because I got my own money. I ain't her daddy. I ain't taking care of nobody. Oh, wow. Okay, so you want this woman to treat you like a queen, and in turn, you treat her like a peasant. So when we start talking about this, now think about this, that woman that can't find that man that can't find that woman, they go through mental anguish, especially when they see individuals who have that mate and they walk around and they seem happy. They have a tendency to be okay with throwing salt at couples that's like that. They think they ain't happy, because I know he a dog, and I know she ain't all into that man. That's just they just showing off. If you find yourself struggling because you can't find that man or that woman and it's affecting you psychologically, stop it. Stop trying to create Mr. Wonderful and Miss Perfect. Why don't you just decide you are going to enjoy life?
Come on.
Instead of going to the club looking for a man, instead of going to a club looking for a woman, why don't we just go to the club and enjoy the interaction and listen to the music, have a few drinks, and the fellowship that goes with it? It is not like going to pick out a pair of shoes or pick out a suit. The art of interaction, the art of getting to know people is dead because it's all done through this now. It's all done through this. If I wanted to talk to you, I'm talking to you, blah, 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 boom, boom, and I put the phone down.
Right.
You want to see anxiety? Try to have a conversation with people these days. People get very anxious. They get very nervous. I think that it is time for us to start to look at relationships and where they fit in our lives and how they impact our mental health. A relationship should enhance your life in some way, not hinder. It should enhance your life. If the relationships that you're a part of does not make your life better, you need to reevaluate those relationships. I've had this conversation with my friend, and his thing was, well, I need a woman that can follow. And I'm like, okay, where are you leading her?
Correct.
What does following mean to you? Does that mean she does not have any interests, any issues of her own? Any dreams, any thoughts, any independence of her own? Is that what it means? Or does it mean I would like for us to have very good communication, open lines of communication? I want to know what you're thinking. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and we're going to make the decision that's best for us. Well, that's not following. A man's supposed to be able to take charge and lead his woman where? Because I tried to lead Tina. I just threw that out there. I tried to lead Tina.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to something that I spoke about earlier. It's easy to find things that you are attracted to. It's easy to fall in love. It's hard to maintain. So let's think about this. A lot of us don't even know what we got because we haven't put in the time to figure out what we're dealing with. Now, somebody just raised their hand and say, ouch, in the process. And here's a prime example. A lot of us look for pretty, shiny things. We like the way things sound or the way things look. Well, last time I heard there was a story, they talked about a guy called the Pied Piper. He played a pretty tune, and everybody wanted to follow that pretty tune, not knowing he was leading them to destruction, to their doom. So once again, sometimes you got to ask yourself the bigger question: is what I want good for me? Yes. I just finished teaching it. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, people who deal with addictions, they have experienced something that they don't know because their mind has not wired them to let them know what you experienced that first time, you'll never experience again. And they be chasing that first experience every time. So sometimes you got to really be real with yourself and say, even though I went somewhere and it made me feel a certain way, I may never get there again. And me chasing that feeling may not be good for me. I may lose everything trying to get a feeling that will never come back to me.
Everything that's good to me ain't good for me.
That part. That part.
It just, I think that I'm going to encourage people who watch this podcast. If you are having problems within relationships, be it students, personal relationships, family relationships, step back and actually look at the issues. Now, you notice I didn't say look at their issues or look at the issues.
Right.
I had an encounter last year where there was an individual that was disrespecting me.
Right.
And I informed them, you're disrespecting me. And their response to me saying, you're disrespecting me is F you.
Mm.
At that very moment, I knew I was done.
Mm.
That was no longer a relationship that I wanted to be a part of. I turned around and I never looked back.
Mm.
That right there is, because we all have deal breakers.
Correct.
We always have deal. Look at your deal breakers and find out if your deal breakers are realistic. Are they in your best interest for your mental well-being?
Correct.
Is it something that you can say, you know what, this is really well thought out, and it's okay at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I don't have to be disrespected. Now, and this was last year, and I thought it was hilarious. It was a little skit on social media, and the woman said, my husband just said he wanted a divorce. And the man said, I never said that. Yes, you did. He said, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. He said, all I said was I was not going to Burger King to get you a burger and then driving all the way to McDonald's to get you some fries. She said, same thing. It's the same thing. It didn't matter. Same thing. So you have to ask yourself, are you being unrealistic? Because to not be abused is okay. Be it mental abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, it doesn't matter. It's okay to not be abused. It's okay to not be disrespected. But make sure that your definition of disrespect, Brother Doobie, let me ask you something. Let's say you and I go out and we sitting at the table and they bring the chips and the salsa.
Come on.
If I double dip, am I disrespecting you?
Oh, no.
Right. I might have poor etiquette, and you ain't gonna eat none of them chips after me, but I ain't disrespecting you.
Right. And see, and that's the problem. See, first of all, you got to know, you've got to know, back to what I always say, FFH, facts, feelings, hearsay. Stick to the facts, stay out your feelings, and don't listen to hearsay. And you got to know who you with. See, that's why I tell people, you can't roll with everybody. Nope. You can't be with everybody. Your personality doesn't mix with everybody. So some folk who,
and that's okay.
And that's okay. Because in these days and times, my brother, there are so many folks that want to have all these followers and all these people rolling with them. Everybody can't roll with me because I don't mix with everybody and I don't let everybody mix with me. Period. There are those folks out there who we are somewhat like-minded. We have common goals, common interests, and them are the people I rock with. There's some folks I can't rock with because I wouldn't understand nothing they talking about. I wouldn't understand nothing that's going on. I wouldn't understand nothing that they do because it does not interest me. And that's okay. And it's not, watch this.
This is my brother. And the brother know, he'll know. Go ahead.
Watch this. And I'm going to let you have it after this. And it's okay. Doesn't mean I need to hate them. Don't mean I need to bash them. Don't mean I need to talk about them bad. It just means that what is their cup of tea is not my cup of tea. And that's okay.
And that's okay. And what my saying is, and everybody that's been around me over the past 2 to 3 years, I've adopted the saying, eagles fly with eagles.
Right.
Eagles don't fly with pigeons.
Right.
They don't hang out like pigeons. You see pigeons hanging in a flock. Eagles soar. You might see one, maybe another eagle in the area, but you ain't gonna never see a flock of eagles. And eagles' wingspans are 10, 12 feet long. An eagle, when they're around pigeons, make the pigeons uncomfortable. The eagle will try to, it hold its wing until it's and then the eagle began to say, I'm not comfortable around these pigeons either. Now, I know people who love pigeons. They collect them, they fly them, I know people. I'm an eagle. And I find that I'm more comfortable with other eagles. Do I dislike pigeons? No. That's just not where I hang.
Right.
I have no issues with pigeons. But too often we try not to spread our wings because we don't want the pigeons to feel uncomfortable. We try not to fly as high because we don't want the pigeons to feel uncomfortable.
Come on, talk on it.
So I need you to, like Brother Dupree just said, I need you to be okay with who you are. But make sure that the individual that you are is realistic.
Come on.
Make sure your ideas and the ideology you have are practical.
Hold on. And watch this, brother.
And I know, go ahead.
No, keep on. Watch this. I didn't mean to disturb you.
No, it's because I was going to use your point. You don't need a $5,000 purse if you don't have $5,000 in the bank.
Right. Hold it. And watch this. And that's okay. But get this. Mm-hmm. Whoever you are, how quirky you are, how strange you may feel you are, how different you may feel you are, there is somebody out there who will love you, who will cherish you, who will hold you in high esteem. A lot of people tripping because Beyonce said her beautiful husband. I want to get into that for right quick, and then I'm going to pass it back to you.
No.
You might not think Jay-Z look like a flip. Jay-Z ain't for you.
Right.
Okay. Okay, watch this. And then, I had a friend of mine say, I'll be with Jay-Z with all that bread he got. You got to understand this. Jay-Z is not with Beyonce for her money, and Beyonce ain't for Jay-Z for his money. They got their own money. We got to understand that when you have deeply touched them in a part of their soul that folk don't see, that's why they come back with that I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I in my life have had people touch me in places in my soul where folk don't even know I go. I have friends like you. I have people out there that I highly respect and care for, and their looks have nothing to do with it. It has to do really with a part of them that my spiritual eye sees that has nothing, that I don't care how fat they are. I don't care how skinny they are. I don't care how much muscle they have, how much muscle they don't have. I don't care how much their booty look this way. I don't care how I don't care. I don't care. Because they soul is so beautiful. But some of y'all out there, watch this.
And here's the part. It makes your mental health much better when you're in their company, and it doesn't send you mentally in a place of anguish or distress. It sends you in a place of peace.
Yeah.
You understand?
I say that all the time. What some of the hashtags you'll see if you follow me on any of my pages. Start with self. Check your circle. Hashtag truth is bitter. Because here's the deal. But the biggest hashtag is make peace. Listen, people say make it make sense. No, forget make sense. I don't care if it makes sense. Just make it make peace. Because peace, when you have peace, you don't care about what people say about you and how you look. You don't care about what people say about you and how much money you got. Guess what? Peace will bring wealth to folks that you feel are financially broke. I'm telling y'all something that y'all really need to catch right now, because some of y'all out there Pied Pipering. Y'all chasing the Pied Piper. Y'all chasing a pretty tune, a pretty look, and a nice sound, and it's leading you straight to destruction. And then that's why we do what we do right here, because we want you to know. Why you think we had a Miss, hold it, I'm just going to name a few folks. We had a Miss America jump off of a 30, beautiful sister, beautiful.
Exactly.
Probably could have had any man she wanted. Guess what? Eventually she didn't have peace. See, sometimes you need to ask yourself, and what I'm chasing, what am I trying to obtain will it make it? Listen, millionaires and billionaires commit suicide daily. Daily. They hold it. Right now, one of the biggest cases on TV is a lawyer who, because of financial issues, it appears that he is alleged to have killed not only his son, but his wife. Come on, y'all. Listen, y'all chasing money when you should be chasing wealth. It's a difference between money and wealth. Y'all need to wake up. And that's what we come in here for. And, I see people logging on. I want you to share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We trying to get y'all to a place where y'all are mentally okay, because a healthy you is a better
you. Yeah. We have this discussion, and the discussion is sometimes we started off in the beginning of the hour talking about how relationships impact us mentally. But now we are at the second part of the hour where we talk about how we allow ourselves to be impacted by our own thought processes. We put big expectations on ourselves. We make our, people around us, we hold them to standards that we know they can't meet. Therefore, we find our peace disturbed. When our peace gets disturbed, nothing fits. Things don't taste right, nothing look right, and we can't. There's a movie that I love called Running Scared. And Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, they go out to Key West, and they're standing at the beach, and there's all these people just looking at the water. And now they came straight from Chicago. And Billy Crystal walks up to the lady and he says, "What are we looking at? Is somebody dead in the water?" She said, "No, we're looking at the sunset." And he looked at her and he said, "The sun sets every day." And she looked at him and said, "We come out and look at it every day." To find inner peace is the greatest gift you can find. Nobody can give you peace. No one can give you peace. That is something you're going to have to find. A relationship cannot give you peace. It can add to it. But if it's chaos inside of you and you meet someone that has peace, that don't automatically mean you have peace.
Come on, preach.
You know what I mean? They have peace. You don't have peace yet. So as we start to look at relationships and how relationships impact our lives, you have to ask yourself, does these relationships enhance my life in some way? Or are they a hindrance to my life? And then reevaluate. Reevaluate and decide where that relationship fits. I have some friends that I grew up with. That's pure chaos. I love them to death. But I know the time that I spend with them is not very long. We might see each other 2-3 times a year. Because I'm not at that place in my life anymore. And as Brother Dupree said, if you choose, this is the part I want you to pay attention and I want you to listen. Because people love to say, "Oh, you selfish." Choosing you does not mean you're selfish.
No, it does not. It does not.
I do not have to engage in your chaos to prove that I'm not selfish.
Come on. Speak on it, brother.
I can choose me and not engage in your chaos and not be selfish. I just choose self-preservation.
Come on, because always remember, I use the airplane analogy all the time. In case of depressurization of this cabin, there will be a mask that will fall down. First, you need to put the on first. Listen, you can, and I've done this. We've all done this. I think everybody is guilty of forgetting that my mask fell down and there's pressure. This cabin is losing oxygen. And now I'm trying to help everybody around me. I'm trying to help those I love. I'm trying to help people that I feel are suffering. But guess what? If in the process of you helping everybody put their mask on, you pass out, who gonna put your mask on?
Self-preservation is not selfishness.
No, it's not.
We have to know the difference.
Now, there are some people out there. Now, look, let's, because some folks are like, man, this is really a good podcast. I see a lot of folks on here, but I really want to share this on you. There are some very egotistical, narcissistic people out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen. No matter what you do, it's never gonna be good enough. No matter what you do, you cold, but you never gonna be cold as them. They want you to do good, but you can't do better than them. You can't drive better than them. You can't date a person better than them. You can't live in a house better than them. You can't make more money than them. You can't do nothing better than them. Guess what? Them type of folk, they out there. And some of you, unfortunately, are close friends with those type of folks because you haven't come to the realization that this person does you no good. And to them, you're just one of their minions. Wake up. Wake up, family. That's all I can say. Wake up.
Does relationships that you have make your life better? Now, let's kind of move forward a little bit in this podcast. So, if we're looking at relationships and we've made an agreement and we've decided that I'm going to choose me, does that mean that you cannot have these friends that you knew that you don't have things, or pigeons? I still have a lot of pigeon friends. But at the end of the day, I protect my peace like it's a child. So much so that my friends and people in my circle, they know. If things start to get chaotic, they say, oh, Ed about to leave. Yeah, man, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Because one, I'm going to end up having to go to work, and I don't want to be a therapist when I'm out having a good time.
Come on.
Number two, I don't take people's issues as my own.
Come on.
I don't do that. I allow people, if they want to have this baggage and these issues, then I let them have that. You know, we have to choose self sometimes. And I don't want anyone to leave Wellness Wednesday with the idea that it's not right for you to choose you. And we've used the example of Boys in the Hood when they were all riding in the car and Trey said, what? Let me out.
Let me out, man.
Let me out. At that very moment, he still loved Dole. Ricky was dead, but he chose himself.
Right. I'm not. Sometimes, hold it. Sometimes you got to say, I ain't built for this.
Yeah, I'm not.
Listen, family. That's something important. Sometimes you got to say to yourself, when the pressure is on, man, I ain't built for this. You know, when a friend says, come on, man, we about to ride and handle this business. If you ain't built for that, sometimes you got to look at him and say, no, I ain't built for that, bro. You know, if there's a situation, some of you take on stuff that y'all ain't built for. You listen, I ain't built to run a marathon. Now, I can't say that I can't train, get in condition, and maybe run a marathon. But right now, I ain't built to run a marathon. So why then would I let you talk me into running a marathon? See, once again, sometimes the reason you do what you do is you really do want to be a minion to some of these folk because you want to impress these folk. I ain't got a problem looking some folk in the eye saying, you know what, I ain't in the shape to run a marathon. I can get there. But right now, if you need me to run a marathon this weekend, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to drive it. How about that? I'm going to get my car. I'll follow you in my car.
Right.
You know, we have to get to this point, man, where we do this podcast because we want people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. That is the whole purpose we come on here every Wednesday, is to say, I want to be the best me I can be. We went through so much these past few weeks. Last night we had the State of the Union. Just a few weeks ago, we had a young brother beaten by 5 black police officers. You know, I mean, there's so much going on to add to our our distress than to let relationships that we actually have control over do the same thing.
Right. Right.
I don't want anyone to say, okay, I am the way I am now because of me. I'm stressed out because of me. I don't want you to say that. I want you to say, you know what? This is a stressful situation, but I'm going to be fine because I'm going to figure out how to handle this.
And if you can't, hold up. This is a good place. Let's bookmark that. If you can't, look right here. positivechoicescounseling.org. Listen, this is a safe space that you can go to, that you can talk to licensed clinical counselors who can help you navigate the woes of life. You don't have to go through this alone. And listen, insurance, no insurance, sliding scale, you name it. But listen, before suicide amongst people who are Black and brown is at an all-time high. I have seen since we've been doing this podcast, and I'm wearing Southern University because I do a lot of work for Southern. I got 2 basketball games. I'll be doing one on Saturday, one on Sunday. It's Mardi Gras season in the great state of Louisiana. That's those places that celebrate Mardi Gras. We just went through the State of the Union, and back to where I was at. Just since the time we've been doing this podcast, I have seen a lot of folks that I personally know take their lives because they felt they had no other way to alleviate their pain except taking their lives. There are other options. There are folks that you can talk to. positivechoicescounseling.org. Go to the website, look at the services that they're offering. If you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with suicide, if you need family counseling, child counseling, relationship counseling. We're talking about relationships in here because family, we want you. When I say a healthy you is a better you, I mean that. And I'm not just talking about your physical health. Listen, family, this is the month of February. And normally when I used to be in regular radio, I did regular radio for almost 30 years, been in media for almost 30 years. You know, I used to take a friend or a family member to the doctor in honor of Black History Month. Just as well as you need to make sure that your blood pressure, your heartbeat, and your sugar is good and all your bodily functions are good, you need to make sure your mentals are okay too. You know, there are professionals out there that can help you. Many times we act like mental health is taboo. It's not. It's not, family. A holistic, healthy you is a better you. You can't be healthy in the body and messed up in the mind and consider yourself healthy. You're not. So we want you to be holistically healthy, rounded, healthy. You didn't say perfect.
No,
we said healthy. No understand there's a big difference. And y'all got to get that. So many times y'all think healthy means perfect. No, healthy means healthy.
Yeah, it means it means having the skills to cope with daily life stressors, the things that life's gonna throw at you. I want you to always understand one thing. It's called your mental health for a reason. It's not someone else's mental health. It's your mental health. We come on here every Wednesday trying to give information, trying to help individuals answer questions, to help people build themselves up to be the best you can possibly be. We're at the point now where we have gotten this podcast off the ground for 3, almost going into our end of our 2nd year.
Yeah.
And we do it every Wednesday. And we do it every Wednesday, not because we don't have a lot to do. Brother Dupree busy, I'm busy. But we do it because we're committed to this.
And we care. We care.
And we care. We want you to know you are not alone. If you're sitting in your room, if you're sitting in your house, if you're sitting in your car,
right?
You have someone that you can call. You have someone that will listen. So we started talking about relationships because I know as a therapist of 35 years, relationships cause more stress. Relationships and employment cause more stress. Now, and for those of you who are in school, that's just a form of employment. More stress and anxiety than any other relationships in your life. So I wanted to talk about it's okay to unplug and choose you. Because I hate when people say, oh, you so selfish. I wanted to talk to you and you ain't want to talk. No, what you wanted to do was bring that drama. And I just don't have the energy for it right now. I've been on this health kick of going to the gym, and I was going to have consistency. And I was out of town this whole weekend, so I didn't get a chance to go to the gym. This morning, when I got up at 6:30 to go to the gym, the normal workout, now keep in mind, it's been a bunch of drinking and eating and having a good time. When I got to the gym, by the end of the first hour, I was completely exhausted. I realized, I said, you know what? I'm okay with this is all I have for today. I'm going to be back at it tomorrow. And I didn't beat myself up. I understand I'm human. And I chose me today. I chose me today. Now, I did get through the workout. I got through my whole workout. But instead of 2.5 hours, it took me almost 3 hours. I want everybody that listens to us tonight to, if no one else tells you, I'm going to tell you it's okay to choose you. It's okay to not want to be a part of chaos and to want to protect your peace. It's okay to protect your peace. You know what I mean by that. Some of y'all, when that phone rings, you see that person, be like, oh, no. That's protecting your peace. To choose not to argue with someone, that's protecting your peace. To not want to be a part of something you know is chaotic is protecting your peace. And that is okay. Don't let anybody tell you choosing you and protecting your peace is selfish. That's called self-preservation.
Come on.
Brother Dupree, you saw your president last night.
Yeah, and I saw some people barking at him, and Joe Biden, regardless of how you feel about Joe Biden rope-a-doped some Republicans last night.
He did.
He fell back and he rope-a-dope, and when he came out, they were tired of swinging, and he swung and knocked them clean out. Because like he said, look, some of y'all want to take away people's privileges. And the funny thing about politics, especially conservative politics, is it's not government until it affects them. Prime example, I've heard conservative people tell me for the longest, I need the government out my business, until all of a sudden they couldn't get Taylor Swift tickets, and the first person talking to Congress was Ticketmaster. So wait a minute, let me understand this. If I couldn't get I'm trying to be funny here, but if I couldn't get tickets to my favorite R&B singer, if I couldn't get tickets to see New Edition, if I couldn't get tickets to see Charlie Wilson, we didn't go in front of Congress when I couldn't get tickets for Essence.
Sure did.
We didn't go in front of Congress when I couldn't get to see Frankie Beverly and Maze because it was sold out and they were putting up. But it seems to be soon as Taylor Swift. So wait a minute. We need government when government can handle things that I feel are problematic. That's why I tell folks, watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say. Prime example. Black folk been suffering from substance abuse for the longest. But we wasn't getting money pumped into our neighborhoods until opioids got to be a problem, because opioids wasn't affecting our communities. You got listen, family.
It wasn't a war on drugs until it hit the white community.
Now wait a minute, and to see folks try to cancel culture, my good friend, Mr. Tommy Davidson and the Proud family, I got a problem. I got a real problem. But I'm going to go into that on another day in another way where you can hear me clearly. But family, what we've got to understand is we still, to this very day, and I can give you a list of everybody who's got them, we still haven't got reparations for what has been done to us. So I have a problem when people try to tell me, but we don't owe you nothing. We gave you this great country to live in. Baby, this is our country. We built this country. You ain't paid us for the labor, and once again, had we both had the same starting point in the beginning, I promise you, you be upset right now because you be like, man, them folks sure got a lot. Because y'all took a lot from us. And you need to fess up to that. For y'all to have somebody like Governor DeSantis down there literally saying if it's black, it's whack. No, sir. Because if it's white, it ain't necessarily right. So I'm not gonna have you pump into me all this teaching of all this history of all the good things these bad folks did. Because let me tell you something, George Washington owned slaves. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. There were people who owned slaves that you got them on monetary pieces of money. You got their pictures at places, and you all go, "Oh, look at this great American."
I'm sitting there with a roll of stamps right now, looking at the great Americans on here, man. Look,
okay,
you know how it is.
Okay, protect your peace. So I'm not going to get nobody blood pressure high, especially mine tonight. But we have had another great show, man. Funny how time flies when we're on here. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. It's all about relationships. It's all about love. And guess what? Start getting to know yourself. Start having a relationship with yourself. A lot of the reasons a lot of you can't love folks is you don't love yourself. Love yourself first. Learn to love yourself. Learn to give yourself from you what you need to give to be a better you. Then you can share that with others. I'm going to flip it over to my brother at about this time and let him do what he do. Close us out, my friend.
You know how we say it, man. We had a great show. Protect your peace. And if nobody else told you today, we love you. We out. See you next week. Peace.